Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, you're watching the podcast, The Life in the Mirror, and I want to thank you for taking your busy time to watch this video. Today's topic is going to be about the way of life. The way of life. What do I mean when I talk about the way of life? It is living according to your own established lifestyle of habits, customs, and beliefs. It also implies actively choosing and following a particular pattern, a living that aligns with your values and priorities rather than passively accepting a lifestyle dictated by others. When we talk about the way of life, that means you are accustomed of living a certain way, a certain pattern. Say if you lived in a good family home versus a bad family home, and you have became accustomed to that lifestyle, that becomes a way of life. Now, Urban Meyer, he coached Ohio State, the Ohio State Buckeyes, or the Ohio State, and he coached them from 2012 to 2018. In the year 2014, they won the national championship for college football, and then also he won three Big Ten titles at Ohio State. Now, he was talking about something, how they live in Columbus, Ohio, and how the Ohio State fan base and their football. And one thing that he said was football here in Columbus, Ohio is a way of life. He brought up this situation. He said, you have kids are infants and they already wearing Ohio State onesie, uh, jersey or something. They already wearing something that has Ohio State football on it. And he kept explaining, he's like, it is a way of life. He was like, that's just part of their identity. When you say the Ohio State football, the Buckeyes, he said that's part of their identity. That's part of their DNA. That's just a way of life. Is they live through the Buckeyes. And he said it's just a way of life. Now, the reason why I brought that up, now, like I said before, you can grow up in a good family or you can grow up in a bad family, and how it affects you. Now, just say if you grew up in a bad family, um, alcohol, drugs, staying up late at night, things like that. Always parties. Say like you grew up around family, it was gang bangers or something. They sold drugs. They was out on the streets gang banging and things like that. Now, as a young kid growing up in that situation, it is so easily that can become your way of life, especially if that's all you know and that's all you understand, especially when you grow up in that type of situation and you like, this is just the way of life. This is how we live. And when you in that type of situation, and if that's a way of life, you don't understand any other life. If you grew up in a hard life, that's all you understand. And even if you put that person in a good situation, they will somehow find themselves back in that way of life because that's the only life they trust. You know, when you put them in a good life, it's like it's too good to be true. It's to have all this happiness. I don't understand this. All I understand is pain. All I understand is rain. All I understand is stress, discouragement. That's all I understand. This is just a way of life, and especially when you're talking to somebody who lives that way of life, it is hard to break them from that way of life. Now, it's a good thing that if you grew up, you grew up in a good family, or you grew up, your parents were good parents. that's a good thing. But if you didn't grow up in that situation, now some of the things that you are going to have to do in that situation, especially if you trying to break that way of life, you are going to have to accept the fact you have this problem. Now, I know that's like beating a dead horse. I mean, just like the prodigal son, when he realized that the servants was eating a whole lot better because he was sitting there eating in the hog pen when he spent all his daddy money now eating the hog pen he's poor, and he realized my daddy servants is eating better than this. You have to come to your senses. You have to realize you have to walk yourself to the mirror and say, I have this problem. Then after that, once you do that, once you acknowledge you have a problem, it is okay to go talk to somebody about that problem. It can be a pastor of a church. It can be a counselor. It could be a friend or even a elder, adult, especially somebody who's been through that life. And when you can go to them and say, "What did you do to break this ball of chain of this lifestyle that I'm living through? What did you do? What steps did you take to make your life better?" And when you acknowledge it, you go talk to somebody. Then you have to set guardrails in guardrails, just like when you're driving down a highway, they got guardrails. And so when you hit that, you won't go off the road. Because what happened if you don't have those guardrails right there to stop you, you're gonna find yourself backslide or backsliding. Those things happen. Now, when I talk about the way of life, and I pray anybody, you know, when you say, "Oh, that's a way of life," I hope that was a good life that you lived, and that's what I hope and pray. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not a good life, and you just living in pain, stress, and all that type of stuff, and it's just holding you down, I understand what you are going through. I have been in some situations that I had to actually go get help. I had to acknowledge this situation. I had to go to get some help. I had to go, and then also I had to set up guardrails to keep me from backsliding or backslid. If you're watching this video and you watch it to this end, and you watch the full video, you can make it. You can do this, and you can become a better person. You don't have to live that lifestyle, even if you came from a broken family, even if you came from a bad neighborhood, a bad environment. You can choose to be a better person, even if you're still in that bad environment. You don't have to live that way of life. You can choose a better way to live, a, a better way of life. And I'm just thankful that God give us that choice to make that decision to change. And I just want to thank y'all for watching this video, taking y'all time to watch this video, and just please subscribe, leave a comment, share the video, and I just thank you. God bless.